I bet you've tried everything to get your home clutter-free. You probably even spent hours and hours just going through every single room. Sacrifice time on the weekend, sacrifice Netflix, but it still somehow feels incomplete. Well, we went through this too. And despite what you might think, it is not the sentimental items that you don't want to get rid of because they mean so much that are holding you back. Heck, you could probably keep all of those sentimental items if you just fix this one thing. The number one source of clutter in your home is your impulse buying. And I want to show you how to stop this today. Because if you really want to see a huge change in your home and an enormous difference in the way that your house feels, you've got to learn how to control what comes into your home. And the number one source of random clutter is just impulse purchases. So the first way, and this is gonna feel too simple, but you need to create a budget. I'm telling you, as elementary as this might feel, if you have no plan for your money, you're gonna just spend it on a whim. We all have impulses. And I know 90% of you love Target. If you say you don't, I don't believe you. Because even me, as a guy, I like Target. It's got everything you need in one place. Groceries, home decor, non-toxic products, Starbucks. So if you walk into Target with no budget, you're gonna walk out like you had no budget. I'm not gonna break down how to make a budget in this video, but here's what I will say. Just create a line item for outside purchases that you might need. So home decor or clothing or toiletries or all those things that sometimes just become random purchases when you walk into Target and you see this really nice SPF or you see this really nice non-toxic hair oil. Whatever it is, you need to allocate money to it because you're making a decision on how you're going to spend your money. If you don't, there's just gonna be no limit in your mind. And when the impulse arises, you're just gonna buy. So there's nothing holding you accountable. Just make a budget. The second way is to learn how to complete spaces of your home and settle on good enough. So we've finally completed the majority of our home. Our bedroom's basically finished, our kids' rooms are completely finished, but we made it a point to just complete them. We had a lot of different ideas, a lot of ideas that we knew would take a lot of time, but we made the decision to just finish them with what we have and settle on for them to be good enough. So I'll speak from experience that when I wait to complete something in our home because I want it to be perfect in exactly the way that I envisioned it, I end up spending way more money than I want to, and it takes about 10 times the amount of time for some odd reason. Believe it or not, there are times when Carlene is a little bit better on just settling for good enough, let's just get it done, than I am. And this perfectionism and just not settling on good enough and just being done with it has cost me a lot of money in the long run and time and clutter in the long run. So the only space that we haven't fully completed is the space between the kitchen and the living room over there. So all that stuff over there, it's right between this, our bedroom, and the doorway. So ideally we would have liked it to become a sitting area because we do have family that does come over and we feel like it would really pull the whole space together really well. But we've decided not to just impulsively buy stuff just because we want it to be done. I want to share some wisdom that I've been really going back to a lot lately from my neighbor Hubert. He's an older Jamaican guy. He's lived here since the community first started like 20-ish, 30 years ago. And he tells me this all the time, ever since we bought the home. And he says it in his Jamaican accent. He's like, there's no rush. Do one thing at a time. I've been here 20 years. Just enjoy your home. And that gives me peace because I have so many moments where I'm just like, I gotta do all this stuff. But when I see him, he's taking his time and his home is beautiful. And he doesn't have that like panic about him when he's just doing things around his house. And I want that. Because it's weird, when you buy a home, you start to think that I need a lot more stuff than I really need. I've got to maintain this home. I've got to upgrade this home. There's no landlord who's going to fix everything. So in your mind, you buy things that you think you're always going to need, but you might only need it once or twice. You might not need it often. You might be able to borrow it. So learning how to settle on good enough has helped me not fill my garage to the top with a bunch of tools and things that I might only need one time or random things that you just buy when you own a house. I love systems and following a process. So if If you're like that, here's an easy step-by-step plan so that you don't let your emotions control your purchases. Number one, do I need this? This sounds basic, but really ask yourself, how many times have you just bought stuff without even knowing if you need it or not? How many times have you just bought something because you want to? It's easy to convince ourselves that we only buy things when we need it, but we don't. We buy stuff that we don't need all the time. Number two, how often will I use it? If the thing that we want to buy isn't something that we're going to use often, we've got to second guess, should we buy it or not? If it's something that we're only going to use once, obviously, don't buy it. If it's something that you might use a few times a year, first consider borrowing it from somebody who already has it. If you don't know anybody who has it, consider renting it. If you can't rent it, do everything you can to not have to buy and house the thing in your home. If it's something that you're going to use often, then obviously buy it. Number three, where will I store it? Be honest with yourself. If you really want a clutter-free home, then you want to have a place for each of your items, ideally. Number four, can I afford it? This seems obvious, but it's obviously not the case. How many times have you bought something that you couldn't afford? I know I have. I can be a master at convincing myself that I deserve this. Don't do that to yourself. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. If you can't afford it, wait, save, then get it. And this helps build the discipline of managing not only just your money, but what you bring into your home and how you manage your home. Go on a no-buy month. Only buy for the next month things that you absolutely need. Groceries, toilet paper, pay your mortgage, pay your bills, get gas. Buy stuff that you 100% need, nothing extra. No new exfoliating cleanser that you saw that looks really good. No new plant for your living room. No new cutting board that you've been eyeing every time you go down the kitchen aisle. And if that seems absolutely unbearable, then try 2 weeks. Or even try 1 week. Just build the habit of not jumping on every single impulse when you want to buy something. And really, sometimes we just buy because it feels good. Shopping, it can be therapy, it's real. Even if it hurts us in the long run, financially with our money and mentally with bringing in a bunch of crap into our home. So now that you have a plan to not buy things impulsively and accumulating a bunch of clutter, you probably want to figure out how to declutter the right way to keep your home clutter-free. So watch this video so you learn how to not burn out.